Hey guys, welcome back to this tutorial. We are going to be talking about placeholders. Placeholders in Python are containers that hold variables. A container where you can put your variables. I created a variable named first name and last name and age. Now if I want to print my variables in a sentence using the print function, I would have to say print my name is plus, which we've seen an example of this in the last tutorial. Concatenating strings using the plus sign. So if I print this, I would get my name is Mariam and my last name is Bello, which is very good. But I cannot do this for a string. This is a text value, which is a string. I cannot use the plus sign to add a text and an integer. So it will give me an error. If I print this line, which says my name is plus first name plus and I am plus age. Age is an integer. You cannot use the concatenation sign to add strings and integers. It will give me an error. It says type error must be string and not int. So how can we do this? We can simply overcome this error by using placeholders. Now there are various ways by which you can use a placeholder. A placeholder, as I've said earlier, is a container that can hold a variable. And for you to define a placeholder, you use the curly braces as you can see here. So one of the methods that you can use to define a placeholder is using the f string. The f string is simply by you using the f alphabet in front of your strings. So you can see here, you just write f, and then this f means that you are telling Python that you are about to put placeholders in this string. So you do not have to start writing plus plus plus. You write your sentence in a single string and you put placeholders that will hold your variables in it. As you can see here, it says print my first name is, then there's a placeholder, and in the placeholder you put the first name variable, and the same here as well. Let's see the output. So you see it says my first name is Mariam and my last name is Bello. Now you can also do the same for an integer. Unlike the plus sign that limits you to adding two data types that are the same, you can use, when you use placeholders, you can use different types of data types and it will be valid. If I run this now, my name is Mariam Bello and I am 18 years old. So you can add integers and any type of variable, you can add it in your placeholder. Now this is just one of the methods by which you can format your strings by adding placeholders, by adding variables in your placeholder. Another method by which you can add variables is by using the percent sign. Looking at this variable named message, you can see welcome, then there's a percent here and s. This percent s means that you are defining defining a placeholder here. You want to format this placeholder and add any value to it. Now there are two types of data types when you use this percent %s. You either use percent %s or percent %d. So percent %s is used for strings. It's used for strings value, that is text values. And percent %d is used for integers. It's used for integers and decimals. So you know which one to use. So if you say print, to use this now, you would simply just say message, then you write the percent. So you are telling Python that wherever there is a placeholder in this variable message, it should add this first name to it. So our message is welcome, then this is the placeholder. So if you want to put a value in the placeholder, you simply call the variable and then you say percent, then it will impute this first name wherever there's a placeholder in it. Let's look at the output of this. You will see it says welcome Mariam. So it's placing Mariam, which is the first name variable, it's placing it in the placeholder you've defined here. So you can also do that for, you can do that for more than one. You can have more than one placeholders. Like this variable information is just, this info is just a short form of information. I'm saying %s, that is a placeholder for a string, is from faculty of %s. This has to be a string as well. So I'm defining faculty here, which is science. So if I want to put these two placeholders, I would call the variable named info, which has my placeholders. Then I would call the percent as usual. Then since I have two placeholders here, you put them in a bracket. So the first placeholder should be replaced by, the first placeholder should contain this first name, and the second placeholder should contain this. So if we printed this now, you would see Mariam is from Faculty of Science. Both Mariam and Science, they are variables which we've imputed in our string here. So the same thing for integers, but it has to be %d. So this is a variable named about, and it has two placeholders, one for a string and one for an integer. So %s is %d years old. So this placeholder would hold a string, and this placeholder would hold an integer. So if we print this now, you would get, first, Mariam is 18 years old. So here %s is holding the variable first name, and %d is holding the variable named age. So another method, so we've seen two methods by which you can place your variables in a placeholder. Another method is using the dot format method. For example, I defined a variable named reaction, and I named it glycolysis. And I also defined a variable named enzyme as exokinase. Don't bother about that, they are just biochemical terms. You can replace it with whatever you want. So I'm saying print the first step of, then you remember I said you define a placeholder by using curly braces. So you just put an empty curly brace here. It's catalyzed by another empty curly brace. So these two curly braces, which are our placeholders, they would hold two values each. So by putting dot format, it will insert these two values in the placeholders respectively. So if I print this now, I will see that this first placeholder would be replaced by reaction, which I defined as glycolysis, and this second placeholder would be replaced by enzyme, which I defined as exokinase. So if you scroll down, you will see that it says the first step of glycolysis, which is this, is catalyzed by exokinase, which is this. So you can use whichever method you find much easier. Let's look at another example. We have pathway info, then we have this is a placeholder, is converted to another placeholder in glycolysis. So I defined another variable, start product, end product, and we have print. So print pathway info, this is a variable that contains our placeholders. Dot format, then we have two values for our two placeholders respectively. So you have the start product would be put here, would be inserted here, and the end product will be inserted here. So if you print this now, you would see glucose, which is what I defined as the start product, is converted to pyruvate. Pyruvate is what is defined as the end product, which are inserted here in glycolysis. So these are the various ways by which you can insert variables in your strings. So it is called string formatting. So that is all about placeholders. You can practice more. Remember, I said the more you practice, the better you get. And ask questions in the comment section. I would answer your questions, and do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get notified when I upload new content. Thank you.